Okay, good day class. So this will be our last topic for the nematodes, no, the filarial nematodes. Okay. First subtopic would be the filarial nematodes that infect the lymphatic vessels, no, or the lymphatic filariasis. So the first nematode na di-discuss natin, or the filarial nematode, would be the Wuchereria bancrofti. The common name is the Bancroft's filaria, and it is commonly associated with the diseases Bancroft's filariasis at saka syempre yung elephantiasis. Okay, so sa morphology muna tayo. First things first is we need to discuss the diagnostic stage, which is the microfilariae. Okay, so all of the filarial worms na di-discuss natin dito from this point onwards, no, except for the last one, diagnostic stage nila would always be the microfilariae. Okay? And the specimen of choice would always be blood. Tandaan niyo yan. Okay? So, microfilariae ng Wuchereria bancrofti, 240 to 300 micrometers in length, thin, delicate sheet surrounding the organism, numerous nuclei, cephalic or anterior end is blunt or round, and posterior end free of nuclei. Take note of this, no? Ito yung pinaka-importante. So, meron siyang delicate sheet, so sheeted siya, and then there is an absence of terminal nuclei, yung tawag natin dyan. Yung pinakadulo, no? Wala siyang nuclei doon. Okay, sino yan? Wuchereria bancrofti. Wala siyang terminal nuclei, absence of terminal nuclei. And always remember, when this particular microfilariae is stained, yung central axis niya, dark stained nuclei sila. Yan. So you can see, no? Dark stained sila. Ano yung stain na ginagamit, sir? Mamaya makikita niyo yan, pero pwede natin pagkasin dito, Giemsa stain. Okay. Wuchereria bancrofti na adult. No? So earlier, diniscuss natin yung microfilariae. Now, yung adult stage. Yung female, they are 40 to 100. Tapos yung male naman, 20 to 40 millimeters. So similar lang. The main difference would always be the size, being the female much larger. Both of them are white and red-like. And these adults are found tightly coiled sa mga nodular, dilated na lymph nests. Ang tawag natin doon is lymphajectasia. Yan, lymphajectasia. So, ano yung lymphajectasia? Yan yung location wherein you are going to find the Wuchereria bancrofti as well as the Brugia malayi. They are tightly coiled. Coil sila sa mga lymphatic vessels natin, no? Nodular and dilated, mga lymph nests. Okay, ang tawag doon, lymphajectasia. So, yan, as you can see, they are white and thread-like, yung mga adult worms. Now, for the life cycle, okay, so first things first, huwag natin susundan yung CDC. Mag-start tayo sa adults. So, yung adults, you are going to find them in the lymphatics. Again, ano yung itsura nila doon? Lymphajectasia, no? So, nasa lymphatics yung mga adult worms. Wala sa intestines, wala sa kung ano area. Nasa lymphatics, or lymph vessels, or sa lymph nodes. Okay? Maaring nasa inguinal lymph nodes, yung sa singit, no, na malapit sa reproductive area, or pwede rin sa epididymis ng males, dun sa scrotal area, may mga lymph vessels dun, or dun sa labia ng mga females. Okay, so yung adults makikita once again saan habitat nila, lymphatics. Then syempre they would copulate para mag-produce ng maraming microfilariae. So take note, sila ay viviparous or larviparous sila, no? Larviparous. Ibig sabihin, pag nag-release ng mga anak yung mga females, larva agad, which are what we call microfilariae. Okay, so walang itlog na stage, walang egg stage, diretso ng microfilariae. So this one will be your diagnostic stage, the microfilariae. And ano kasing specimen of choice? That would be your blood. Again, filarial worms, Filarial, Bruglia malai, Loa-Loa, Onchocerca, Manzanella, lahat sila, the diagnostic stage will be the microfilariae, and the specimen of choice is blood. Okay? So, yung microfilariae will migrate into the from the lymphatic, and then pupunta ng peripheral blood circulation. So, magta-travel sila, then they would go to the blood circulation. Then, right after that, what would happen? The mosquito would take a blood meal. Okay? So, anong klaseng mosquito kay Wuchereria bancrofti? So, sabi ni Belisario, Aedes, Culex, and Anopheles. Again, the mosquito vector for your Wuchereria bancrofti, Aedes, Culex, Anopheles. Okay? So, anong ginawa ng mosquito? Siyempre, kumuha ng dugo. Iinom ng dugo from the host. And then, ano ba laman ng dugo ng host? Microfilariae. And doon sa loob ng mosquito, magkakaroon ng development yung microfilariae or the parasite. So, basically, anong tawag natin sa vector na to? Is it biologic or phoretic or mechanical? So, this will be a biological or a biologic vector. So, the microfilariae sheets penetrate the mosquito midgut and migrate to the thoracic muscles, wherein from microfilariae, magiging siyang L1, L2, and then L3. And then yung L3 larvae, no, yung filariform niya, magmamigrate siya patungo dun sa ulo and dun sa proboscis. Yung proboscis is yung parang patusok ng mosquito, yung dulo niya, ito. No? So, magmamigrate dun yung L3 larvae. And then, what will happen? Once the mosquito takes another blood meal, syempre, magugutom ulit yan from another host, nandun na sa proboscis niya or dun sa, sa pinakatusok niya, yung mga L3 larvae. And syempre, since nandun na sila, once nag-take siya ng blood meal from other hosts, magta-travel sila doon sa circulation ng hosts. No? So, may infect na yung host. Now, the question is, what would be the infective stage to the definitive host? It would be the L3. Okay? Again, the infective stage to the definitive host is L3. The infective stage is microfilariae. Okay? And once again, pag nasa blood circulation na L3, pupunta na yan ng lymphatic vessels and then magiging adults na sila, and then this life cycle repeats itself. So, this is the epidemiology. 120 million affected worldwide, 1 billion at risk. Affects more than 100 million people. Yan. And in the Philippines, 45 provinces endemic for lymphatic filariae. So, mostly yung mga rural areas, no? Especially yung mga infested with mga mosquito such as Aedes, Culex, tsaka yung Anopheles. No? And also, cats can be reservoir hosts. So, for your lab diagnosis, syempre, yung blood smear, gymsastin. Yan, sabi ko nga kanina, gymsastin. Ano nga bang hinahanap natin dun sa blood smear na yan? Anong stage? That would be the microfilaria, or the microfilariae. So, Knott's method of concentration, ito gumagamit ka ng nucleopore filter, and lalagay mo dyan yung heparinized blood ng iyong ng iyong specimen. Okay? And then, the optimal sample collected at blood. Tatandaan nyo, ang mga filarial nematodes, they have what we call periodicity. Yan, periodicity. Yan yung activity nyo, diba? So, ang periodicity nila, it varies from species to species. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, yung kung kailan mo mas magandang kuhanan ng dugo or kung kailan mas active yung mga parasites, hence, yun yung oras din wherein you're going to collect the blood specimen. So, for Filarial bancrofti, ang kanilang periodicity would be nocturnal. So, every evening, you need to collect the blood for you to have the best result na makakita ng mga microfilariae. And sometimes, they can also be subperiodic. Pero, much better is yung best time, which is the nocturnal. It has also serologic testing, yung CFA or circulating filarial antigen, and molecular cynomonitoring. Clinical symptoms, we have the asymptomatic, which is syempre eosinophilic and large lymph nodes, elephantiasis. Symptomatic Bancroftian filariasis, yung mga fever, chills, eosinophilia, mga granulomatous lesions, syempre caused by yung massive invasion ng mga dead eosinophils, no? Nung pinatay nila yung mga parasites, sila rin nangangamatay na, hindi sila matanggal sa circulation, na-stuck sila doon, so nagpo-form sila ng granuloma, no? Then lymphangitis, lymphadenopathy, and mas malalang mga elephantiasis and formation of abscess in worm death. Okay, yan. An example of elephantiasis. As you can see, there is an enlargement, no, ng mga yung mga area wherein lymphatic vessels are found. So, very rich in lymphatic fluids too. Okay? So, prevention and control, global program to eliminate lymphatic filariasis. Yung WHO, meron silang program dyan. Interrupt the transmission of parasite via preventive chemotherapy. So, as usual, mga anti-helmintics. Provide care for those who suffer clinical manifestation of LF or lymphatic filariasis through hygiene education programs. Personal protective measures to protect contact with mosquitoes, insecticide residual spraying, and vector control. Syempre, if you remove the vector from the life cycle, wala nang makakalat na lymphatic filariasis. Okay? And syempre, for the treatment is diethyl carbamazine. Sulat natin, diethyl carbamazine. Yan, TEC. Next is the Brugia malayi, or the common name is the Malayan filaria. Commonly associated to Malayan filariasis and syempre elephantiasis din. So once again, start tayo with the microfilariae. The microfilariae, 200 to 280 micrometers in length, sheeted, and then rounded anterior end, and it has numerous nuclei. And yung difference niya with the Filarial bancrofti is it has two distinct nuclei separated from the other nuclei present dun sa terminal end niya. Okay? So, anong difference? Si Filarial, absence of terminal nuclei. Walang nuclei dun sa bandang buntot niya. Whereas si Brugia malayi, there are two distinct nuclei, no, doon sa kanyang terminal end. And then it has also angular curvature with secondary kinks, no? Ayan, mga secondary curvature. So, the life cycle is just similar with the Wuchereria bancrofti, no? Wherein the adults are in the lymphatics, tapos magpuproduce ng microfilariae, pupunta circulation, kukuha ng blood meal yung mosquito, and sa loob ng mosquito, magde-develop yung microfilariae to L1, L2, L3. L3 pupunta sa proboscis, sa bandang tusukan ng mosquito, tapos kukuha na naman ng blood meal. Hence, the infective stage would be L3, tapos diagnostic stage is microfilariae, specimen of choice is blood. Now, the only difference between the two is the vectors. No? So, kanina, meron tayong Culex, Anopheles, and Aedes. Dito, the vector is Mansonia, Aedes, and Anopheles. So, meron siyang additional na Mansonia and wala siyang Culex. Okay? Again, the vector for your Brugia malayi is Mansonia, Aedes, and Anopheles. Epidemiology, the Philippines, Indonesia, so Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Vietnam, Thailand, specific regions of Japan, Korea, and China. So, 45 provinces na naman dito, endemic for lymphatic filariasis. Most commonly found sa Palawan, Eastern Samar, Agusan del Sur, tsaka Cebu. You might find documentaries about elephantiasis, no, sa mga eyewitness, ganyan. Kita nyo, mga infected sila with lymphatic filariasis. So, cats and monkeys can be reservoir hosts din. And highest incidence of poverty, endemic. Adults more affected than the children. So, for both filarial worms, please take note na meron din tayong tinatawag na expatriate syndrome. Okay, so from the word itself, expatriate, that means the ones that are infected with these filarial worms would be mga expats, no? So this type of disease, no? Yung mga expats, ibig sabihin mga individuals that grew up outside the endemic region. So if they are going to be infected with filarial worms, we call this the expatriate syndrome. So ang disease manifestation sa kanila would be yung mga discussed earlier dun sa symptomatic, no? May mga fatigue, ganun, mga fever, swelling ng mga lymphatic regions nila, etc. Okay? So, for the lab diagnosis of Brugia malayi, once again, blood smear, James stain, that's method, and then periodicity niya is nocturnal din, and then similar lang talaga with the Wuchereria bancrofti. The main difference lang would be kung ano yung hahanapin nyo sa blood smear. So, review natin na mabilis. Pag kay Wuchereria bancrofti, the microfilariae, absence of terminal nuclei. Kapag Brugia malayi, there are two distinct nuclei dun sa bandang tail region niya. Okay. Clinical symptoms, ayan, eosinophilic and large, so similar lang din. So ito din yung nangyayari dun sa expatriate syndrome. No? Okay. Ayan, elephantiasis. And this one, no? Tawag din natin dito yung scrotal swelling due to lymphatic fluid accumulation. Ang tawag natin dyan, hydrocele. Okay? So, hydrocele. Elephantiasis din yan, pero to be specific, if it is in the scrotal region, or yung epididymis, may severe lymphatic fluid accumulation dyan. So, tawag dyan, hydrocele. Okay? So, similar lang din yung prevention and control with the Wuchereria bancrofti. Similar treatment, diethyl carbamazine. Next is the loa-loa. Common name is the African eyeworm. And commonly associated disease, yung loiasis. Okay, dagdag mo rin dyan, calabar swelling. No? Pwede nyo rin dagdag. Calabar swelling. Discuss din natin yan later. So this one naman, for the microfilariae, distinct continuous row of nuclei that extend to the tip. So yung nuclei niya, buong buo, continuous, no, hanggang dulo. Okay? So for the microfilariae, once again, ilawa-lawa, distinct continuous row of nuclei that extends to the tip of the tail. Next, for the adult, once again, females are much longer than the males, and they are white and cylindrical, thread-like. Okay. Now for the life cycle. So if the filarial worms na sina Ochereria and Brugia, ang habitat ng adults would be the lymphatic vessels, no, or the lymphatic region. The lowa-lowa, on the other hand, the habitat would be the subcutaneous tissue. Okay, so when the adults copulate, and saan sila nakatira? Sa subcutaneous tissue. And once they produce their larva or microfilariae, so similar na lang din yung mangyayari. The microfilariae will be found in the bloodstream, pero dadagdagan mo yan. Spinal fluid, urine, and lungs. No, peripheral blood sa lungs. Okay? So, pwede bloodstream, no, circulating bloodstream, in the spinal fluid, the urine, the sputum, and peripheral blood in the lungs. Okay? So, again, the difference here is yung kanyang vector, yung chrysops. No? So, the fly chrysops. Ito spelling. Chrysops. It's a type of a species of a fly, no? A phlebotomous fly, ibig sabihin langaw na nangangagat ng tao. Okay? Para kumuha ng dugo. So the fly takes a blood meal. Once again, this is a type of a biologic vector. So yung microfilariae inside the chrysops fly would develop from microfilariae L1, L2, L3. Then once again, yung L3 or the filariform larvae will migrate to the head and to the fly's proboscis, yung bunganga niya ulit, no, yung patusok na bunganga niya. And once again, the fly would take a blood meal, and the adults, and then yung L3 magiging adult stage na, the adults would then travel to the subcutaneous tissue, and then the life cycle repeats itself. So, very similar lang, no? Main difference is the vector, yung adult habitat, no? Yung microfilariae, kung saan din sila magsiswimming right after. So, yan lang yung mga difference niya. Okay? Again, the vector is a chrysops fly. So, epidemiology, Africa, usually. Rainforest belt region, 70% infection rate with large vector population. So once again, James testing blood diagnostic stage is microfilariae. Ulitin natin, microfilariae, infective stage to the definitive host L3. So same lang, no? So ano hahanapin ng microfilariae? Yung continuous na nuclei from head hanggang sa tail tip. Okay? And the difference would be periodicity. So, kung yung kanina, yung dalawa, they are both nocturnal. This one is diurnal. Okay? So, from 10:15 a.m. to 2:15 p.m. Okay? And then, also, you could extract the migrating worms doon sa mata. So, you would see worms, no? Yung patients suffering from lowa-lowa infection, there are worms migrating through their eyes. Okay? And also, serologic testing. So, lowiasis clinical symptoms, initial bite, you will have pruritus or yung itching and localized pain. And then calabar swelling. Calabar swelling meaning when the adult worms go to their adult habitat, no, yung which is the subcutaneous tissues, syempre your body will detect na there are invasive parasites dun sa area na yon. So they would go there, especially yung mga eosinophils, and it would cause large swellings, no? Large painful swellings, and we call this calabar swelling. Though adult worms noticeable when migrating under the conjunctiva, the eye, or under the skin of the bridge of the nose. I think we will have pictures of that. Ayan. As you can see, no? The lowa-lowa is trying to migrate. Ayan. So, extraction, kukunin mo na lang directly. Nasa mata. Okay? So, prevention of control, once again, is DEC, diethyl carbamazine. And additionally, destruction of the chrysops breeding area. Yan. Surgical removal then, if you can see them sa mata. Next is the Onchocerca volvulus. Common name is the blinding filarial. So, this is the causative agent for the river blindness at saka onchocerciasis. So, the microfilariae, it is unsheathted, so wala siyang sheath, and the nuclei do not extend to the tail, so wala na namang nuclei doon. So it is found in the subcutaneous tissue, not the blood specimen. So this is one of the main difference between the previous ones, no? Next, the adult, 500 millimeter length females, 25 to 50 millimeter length males. So they are thin, wire-like, and coiled up in knots inside infected skin nodules. Ayan, okay? So once again, subcutaneous tissue yung mga adults. So once again, they would produce unsheathed microfilariae that typically are found in the skin, lymphatics, and also in the peripheral blood, urine, and sputum. And then, magkukuha ng blood meal ang vector niya, which is the simulium or black fly. Spelling nun is simulium. Yan. The simulium or the black fly, it be its biological vector. It would take a blood meal, and then once again, the microfilariae would develop from microfilariae L1, L2, and then L3. Yung L3 magmamigrate once again to the black fly's proboscis, yung bunganga niya. And then the black fly would find another host, and then infective stage is L3. Ulitin lang natin, L3. Tapos the life cycle repeats itself. Epidemiology, Africa, Central America, East Africa, so yeah. And insect breeds in running water, streams, and rivers. Lab diagnosis, examination of multiple gene-sustained tissue biopsies. Okay, so that's why hindi na specimen of choice natin is blood. Ang specimen of choice natin would be skin snips or tissue biopsies. Okay. So, adult worms may be collected at infected nodules. Ophthalmologic examination using slit lamp, so you can check the eyes of the infected patients. And also serologic methods or PCR. Onchocerciasis or the liver blindness. Onchocerciasis, usually chronic and fatal, severe allergic reactions, and eye infection may lead to blindness, kaya siya tinawag na river blindness. And changes in overall skin appearance. So you may have loss in elasticity of your skin, kasi dun nakatira yung mga adults sa subcutaneous tissues. Ayan. Prevention and control, exercise personal protection when entering endemic areas and control of vector grounds. Treatment natin dito is ivermectin and surgical removal of adult worms. So this is the summary, no? So di ko na diniscuss yung mga Manzanella because it's just similar to most of them. Okay? So ayan yung kanilang mga habitat. Ito yung habitat, no? Take note of that. Tapos yung kanilang mga specimen of choice. Then vectors. Ito yung vectors. Then ito ay chrysops, no? Chrysops. Then these are the diseases. Okay? Please, no? Aralin nyo rin pati Manzanella. Simple lang naman yun. Then this one naman is the characteristic feature of the microfilariae. So sheeted. Ito, yun ang sali pala si Brugia Timori. Yan, sheeted hanggang kay lowa-lowa and then unsheeted na lahat. May absence of terminal nuclei, tapos may 2 terminal nuclei to. And then punong-puno ng nuclei hanggang sa from ulo hanggang sa tail tip. So ito naman difference of the Onchocerca and Manzanella. So blunt Streptocerca, blunt tail, free of nuclei. Onchocerca with nuclei, Streptocerca. Perstance and Ozardi, parehong pointed tail. Perstance, free of nuclei. Ozardi with nuclei. Okay? And lastly, we have the Parastrongylus cantonensis, or in CDC, Angiostrongylus. Yan. Parastrongylus or the Angiostrongylus cantonensis. Common name is the rat lungworm, commonly associated with the Angiostrongylariasis. Again, the females are much larger than the males. Tapos, ang female, we have the uterine tubules that mount spirally around the intestine. Tapos, bluntly shaped posterior end. Pag male naman, well-developed caudal bursa and kidney shape and single lobe. Okay, ayan sila. No? Ayan yung coil na tinutukoy. Okay? Eggs and larvae, elongated and ovoidal, delicate hyaline shell. So, thin shell lang siya. Yung L1, distinct small knob near the tip of the tail. And L3, 2 well-developed chitinous rods below the buccal cavity. Ayan, hyaline shell. Medyo similar kay sa ova ng mga strongyloides, no? Ayan. So, Angiostrongylus cantonensis. So, ang definitive host niya talaga is the rats, no? So, humans would serve as your accidental host, incidental host, or dead end host. Okay? So, let's start the life cycle. So, eggs hatch in the lungs and first stage larvae are passed through the rodent's feces or yung stool, yung tae ng daga. And then the first stage larvae shed from definitive host and are ingested by a gastropod intermediate host. So, the intermediate host would be snails. Okay? Yung Achatina, Hemiplecta, Helicostila, Vaginillus, tsaka Beronicelia. So, yun yung mga intermediate host niya, mga snails, kumbaga. And then, yung mga snails na yan, yung mga mollusks, magde-develop yung, syempre, since it is intermediate host, there's development of the parasite. So, from a first stage larvae or L1, L2, tapos L3. So, mag-L3 na siya. larvae, third stage larva. Then again, may ingest yan ng rats, and then the life cycle repeats itself. So, paano nagiging accidental host yung tao? So, the mode of transmission would be ingestion ng raw mollusks, no, ng mga snails. Maliliit kasi yung mga yan. Or pwedeng ingestion ng mga leafy vegetables or fruits na contaminated ng mga snails, o kaya naman yung mga secretions, yung mucus secretions of those gastropods, no? Or pwede rin ingestion ng mga parathenic host such as yung mga freshwater prawns or mga crabs, or pwede rin drinking contaminated water. Okay, so those are multiple modes of transmission. Pero yung most common mode of transmission sa accidental ingestion ng raw mollusks or ng mga leafy vegetables. So yun yung most common mode of transmission of your Angiostrongylus cantonensis. Then what happen if once you ingest that, since you are a dead end host, hindi magiging adults yung parasites. So saan siya pupunta? The larvae would migrate to the brain, occasionally to the eyes or lungs, and yun na yun, mamamatay na sila doon. And is it dangerous? Yes, it would be dangerous since once the parasite dies, no, ma-detect yan ng body mo, and then it would send a lot of defense mechanisms dyan, and it would lead to swelling, ganyan, granuloma. Discuss that later. So the infective stage is the L3 larvae na nasa loob ng snails, and then the diagnostic stage syempre would be the larvae din na nasa utak ng host. So since it is cantonensis, ibig sabihin it is first reported or first seen sa Taiwan in 1945, no? Pero there are 2 cases na sa Pilipinas, ocular parastrongyliasis, so sa mata. Okay, patients from Isabela, history of eating improperly cooked snails. Lab diagnosis is relatively difficult because pumupunta nga sila sa utak, di ba? Or pwede rin sa kahit saan, kasi nga dead end host tayo so hindi sila magde-develop, kabod na lang silang mamamatay, hindi mo man malalaman. So presumptive diagnosis, serologic tests. Clinical symptoms of your parastrongyliasis and angiostrongylliasis: 6 to 15 days incubation, severe intermittent occipital or bitemporal headache, stiffness of the neck, paresthesia, vomiting, fever, nausea, blurred vision, body or muscle pain, fatigue, and intraocular hemorrhage. Prevention and control, awareness and proper eating habits, and safe food preparation. Siyempre. Treatment is the usual albendazole and bendazole. And that's it. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, no? Especially the major exam would come malapit na. Okay? So thank you and